Greetings, I'm John O'Toole. A friend of mine on YouTube has, you might even know him. You should know him. If not, you should look him up. Carrie Holtzman. I'll put his name at the credits at the end of the thing. So you could either watch the whole show or just fast forward to the end. I hope you don't fast forward, but you could do that. So he asked me to help him out and do a product review, which is kind of interesting because no one's asked me to do product review because I only have 450 subscribers on YouTube. So, and this is called the Wormhole Switch USB transfer cable. This is what the box looks like. Now, the picture on the box shows an iMac and a Mac. Well, it says Mac or Windows, but an iMac. So it's kind of basically giving you the impression that you could transfer documents between a Mac and a Windows. Or just a PC like I have here and a laptop, which you can see right there. My laptop. By the way, if you have a laptop, you should connect it into your router once a month to do updates. It doesn't really like doing updates on Wi-Fi. It will do it, but it can take some time if you don't have a good connection, a fast connection. So you should make sure it's updated. My laptop's been sitting in the drawer for about 4 months, and it's been working on updating window updates now for 2 days, which is what I've been waiting for so that I could shoot this video. So, I don't have an Apple computer in the house, so I can't try it out that way. But if I can transfer from PC to my laptop, then that's half the battle. Now, interestingly enough, these cables, I first saw these cables, and maybe they've been out for decades, but, well, it couldn't be decades because USB haven't been around for decades. But when Windows was first coming out, they were having people transfer their files to another computer while they did the Windows update on their computer, and then they could transfer them back. Mostly because hard drives, portable hard drives were so expensive back then. It's funny where things have gone between just over the last few years. So now a portable terabyte drive is $50. Not too many years ago, that would have been maybe, $300 or $400. So this apparently is a USB cable that you plug into your both computers, and then you could have them talk to each other and transfer documents back and forth. Now, I run into this particular issue when I'm going down to the studio. CTSB is basically all iMacs. So all the editing for shows are all done on the iMac, particularly Final Cut Pro. They have access to some Adobe products, but primarily the video editing is done in Final Cut Pro. Now, Final Cut Pro doesn't exist in PC world, so you can't transfer necessarily a working file a working video file between PCs and Apple. The project is completely different between the two. On the other hand, I've been using at home. Then there's programs that do work for video editing that work on an iMac. Filmora is one of them. I do Filmora on my PC, and it's also available. You can load it onto an iMac. Although I don't know why you would, because if you can load Final Cut Pro, it's a little more money, but it's well worth it. So, not that I'm putting a dig in for Filmora. I think it's a pretty cool program to use if you're just sort of running it on your PC. And I guess you could use it on your iMac too. But my personal experiences is I'm very fond. It was kind of my first program that I really learned it to the point where I can really create some pretty exciting stuff. If you saw some of my shows that I kind of really get into a lot of different effects, I think you'd be rather impressed by it if you saw what happens behind the scenes. So, and that's kind of where it is. If you're just editing a quick video that you shot with your phone so that you can upload it to YouTube or Facebook, and basically all you're doing is cutting out pieces and sticking them back together again, you could use just about any editing software for that. But if you're getting into more sophisticated things, changing the speeds and doing titles and doing, multiple edits, like say, for example, I shoot a lot with multiple cameras. I'm getting off topic because we're not supposed this is the topic, but I shoot a lot with multiple cameras since I'm one person, and I can do different angles with multiple cameras. And there's only a few editing software programs out there that'll handle multiple cameras. And it's a very handy thing to do. When you watch a TV program or a movie or something, and you're watching a scene of a bunch of people in a room, they don't have 11 cameras, one on each person in the room, and they actually just shoot the scene exactly over and over and over again, and people just repeat the lines over and over and over as they're shooting different angles of the room. So it's interesting to go back into that. There's different ways of shooting video, and most people just do like right now, we're just in front of each other. So any place where I've done some really goofy stuff, I'll cut that out and, put it back together and stuff. So, back to what we're doing, and then we're doing this review of the Wormhole switch. Personally, I found it a very odd name, Wormhole switch. Just having the word switch in there kind of interesting in itself. The USB transfer cable. Now we're opening it for the first time. I cut the little pieces of tape on there to speed things up. But I was looking at the reviews. So when I do stuff here, often I'll do stuff here and get it ready, and then I'll go down to the studio and put it together at the studio. Lately I've been doing stuff at home, and I get more stuff done at home. So we've got a book, we've got a stop. If you're experiencing any problems with the product, do not return to the store where you purchased it. Instead, contact J5Create for support. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to say stop, and I'm going to send them an email and tell them that I'm in the middle of shooting a video online and it won't work. Now, the user manual not exactly huge. I kind of wish the text was bigger. But I think what we're going to probably do is we're going to just plug it in and see what it does. There's probably a warning in here. Don't just plug it in. Now, what I would normally do to transfer it, because I have 3 computers here in the house. I got mine one right here. I got my laptop, which is right there. And then I have a computer in the living room. And I think there's a way to do it over the internet, but I haven't quite got that figured out. And I bet it's really simple, but I haven't yet. So what I usually would do is I will put it onto either a thumb drive, or I'll put it on this here, which is a I think what it is. It's an SSD 128 gigabyte SSD. And I'd transfer it over onto this, and then I'd bring it into the other room, and then I'd load the stuff up over there. Only because if my file size is over 2.5 gigabytes, it won't copy onto a thumb drive for PCs. Now, if you're in the Mac world, it's different, and you can go with larger sizes. But I'm not in the Mac world. Now, the other thing I'll do is if I get video ready here, I'll put it on that drive, or I'll put it on my thumb drive, and I'll go down to the studio, which is all iMacs, and then I could transfer it over onto the iMac. But I can't bring it back necessarily. So even if I create it on Adobe Premiere, which is a internet-based editing program, files created on the iMac can't come back to the PC. It's only one direction, which is kind of dorky when you think about it. So part of the problem with using this switch, this transfer cable, is that obviously this cable isn't 20 miles long, so that I can run it all the way down to the studio and plug it into an iMac. I would have to port it onto something and then transfer it over. Now, it refers to using things like iPads, so you can transfer it onto an iPad. And I guess that you can bring things up onto a cloud and then transfer it over to your computer through a cloud. But you might run into the same problem as some things won't work. Now, some of the files that you could do would be, which is what probably it's really written for, is Word documents and Excel documents, calendars, that kind of thing that has a certain standard. Not so much videos. They probably weren't thinking of people editing videos when they came up with this design. And the other nice thing about that versus using this method here, is it's time consuming because you've got to put this into your computer, wait until it transfers, which may take, 5 minutes, 1 minute, may take 30 minutes, depending on how big your files are. And then you're going to transfer them. Then you're going to take the drive out, bring it over, put it onto your other computer, even though it's right there, and plug it in over there, and then wait some more. And it's a time-consuming process. Now, if you could just plug a cable in between the two places, you could just say, okay, send, and it's over there. So, now I imagine the reason why they call it a switch is because, like, often hubs that are used for the internet, they're called switches. And I'll make this straight because it's probably driving you crazy. And so it's not necessarily a switch like a wall switch. Connect one end of the wormhole to a standard USB port on one of the two computers and connect the other wormhole end of the switch to the second computer. Now, I would suggest not using the hub if you have an external hub so that you would have extra USB ports. So you might have to unplug the printer and the mouse and the keyboard if it's on a laptop. When you initially connect to the iMac computer, a window will pop up. Well, we're not connecting to an iMac, so and my bet is it's going to be more complicated to work on an iMac than you think. Go. Usually I throw these wireless things away, but I'm probably going to return the product. Okay, so we're plugged in. Now, I wanted to run screensaver. So I've gotten a message up on my system saying that the screensaver is ready to use. And I wanted to try Okay, so let's run a screensaver recorder on both the PC and the laptop. When the wormhole switch is connected properly, the wormhole launch page will be shown. Anybody see a launch page? You guys are watching just like I am. We were plugging in the one for the Mac. Connect one end to the one, connect the other end to the other end. Oh, well, it's the same thing. The device will automatically start the window installation on both computers. An autoplay option windows may appear. Click Run. Well, we didn't get an autoplay option. Did get a message saying that it was ready to be used. But I should see something under my computer. So, get to my computer. We open up File Manager. Click on this PC. And there we go. We got Wormhole. Click on the Allow option. So maybe I need to actuate it over here too. So we got the wormhole showing up on the laptop. You know, it's acting like someone's plugging it in and unplugging it over and over again. That's how it's acting. Do you want to allow it to set up almost like someone's unplugging it and plugging it back in? So it's like the driver's loading and unloading over and over again. Kind of weird. Let's just try a different USB port. So it says a connection's been made. So there we go. So apparently I'm not going to necessarily be able to show you. Oh. So apparently you can share your screens as if you had two monitors. Now I have two monitors set up. I have this monitor here, and then I have another monitor over here, and it's great for editing because I can have stuff going on over here and over here at the same time. And among other things, you can watch a YouTube video over here while I'm working on things. And it's actually acts as one big monitor. So according to this, I should be able to slide my mouse all the way over There should be a way of defining the dominant PC. Well, let's see if this one works. So here's this one. Alright, well there you go. So I can do that from over here. Well, so here's a video. It's 13 minutes long. And I'm going to bring it over. That didn't work. Must be a way to choose who's the dominant PC. But right now, the laptop is the dominant PC. And so I want to grab a video. Let me bring it mouse over here. So I can move my mouse around. I'm going to grab the video. Let's see, it won't let me take it off the desktop. Meanwhile, I'm distorting all my icons on my desktop. Let me see. Let's see if I have to turn on file sharing. Yeah. File sharing is good. Okay, so let's see if we can go in the other direction then. So if we have something that's not on the other drive, which I'm not sure exactly what that would be. Alright, so we have this file here, the Word document. And I'm using a wireless mouse on the laptop, so I'm not touching the computer and I'm not touching the other computer, but it keeps cycling, and I'm not sure why it's doing that. Now, when I was reading reviews, people were saying that it would do that, that it kept reloading the driver. So now I was able to bring over the dock, and if it would stop doing what it's doing, I would be able to find out but it keeps going through this cycle of and this is quite annoying because it's doing it just about as soon as you allow it to make a connection, it breaks the connection again. You know, it's not doing it on my laptop, but it is doing it on my system. Now, the only difference between the two computers is that the laptop was a Windows 7 that was migrated to Windows 10. So it's not a clean install of Windows 10. It has, now it shouldn't really matter at all, but I think it does matter. So the age of the laptop probably explains why it even works. I don't, considering that it was really something that was designed for something in the past. But just this alone makes it really impossible to use. And maybe that's also why it would only transfer in one direction. But this whole loading, unloading thing is really annoying. So I was able to transfer a document over to this system, but I couldn't do it in, well, I mean, this whole thing is annoying. It's just plain annoying, to say the least. So let's see. Okay, so now the mouse works. Well, there you go. So that works that way. So I'm able to transfer a Word document. There you go again. Oh, wait. I was just about to take my shirt off. Tomorrow is going to be World Naked Gardening Day for everybody. Naked Gardening Day. That goes back a few years. Of course, you can see by the street. So, the first Saturday of May every year is considered Naked Gardening Day. It's a It's a world event. Happens everywhere. That people shoot video of themselves gardening in their garden naked. And of course, it's done very tastefully, so at least the videos that I've seen. Uh, and it's just a motivation to get people out to do gardening. So it's kind of a really fun event. But, so it worked that time. And, but this cycling on and off thing is very annoying. And my guess is that the driver is continually loading over and over again because it sees the component, looks for the driver from Windows, loads it in, and then gets it up and running and gives you a signal that it's ready to be used. And just waiting for this to stop is enough to make me just use my portable drive. But kind of to each their own, you know. So we could try another video from here, another webcam video. How about this one? Meanwhile, my desktop is getting all combobulated because I keep trying to drag things and it's you know, personally, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm going to disconnect it. So I can stop this craziness. Alright. Now let's just take a look online. On the price tag on this product. Oh, this is Wormhole switch USB transfer spell transfer, right? So just looking here, it's Office Depot has it for $54. eBay has it for around $14, $20, something like that. So here's my favorite website. One of my favorites, but B&H Photo, a really good website. They have it for $30. Special order, which means they don't stock it. It has 2 reviews on it. Two reviews from one from the 2015 and one from 2017. One review says I broke it, one I use at home, and one I travel. Love these devices. They both give it a good review. How they use it to transfer between their 2 computers. 2015. That's kind of like when Windows... Oh, that would have been Windows 7. So they were probably coming over from Vista, which might have been when I first saw them. Now I can't really remember when. But if you're transferring Word documents, it might be an easier way to go between a Mac world over to your PC world. So it might have some advantages in your life. And the only way you're going to find out is that you order one. I would order it from maybe eBay. I would just probably find wherever you can order from and make sure it's brand new when you order it. And give it a try. You know, I certainly wouldn't order it for $50. And that's my review. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.